Hello, carrying on with exam tips. Now, I was talking about in the previous video tab settings in spreadsheets. Not tab settings, but I believe the tabs at the bottom of the screen in spreadsheets. Yeah, definitely rename them. So if you right click on the tabs at the bottom, rename them to something appropriate. You can color them as well, color code them as well if you want. Let's just have a look. Charts, right, sticking with spreadsheets, so charts. Now the most important thing on a chart is obviously select the correct data for both exams. Make sure that your charts have headings and axis titles. The x-axis, usually the horizontal one, normally you'll have headings to tell me what the columns are, and an axis title. Now you can get away with that axis title being in the main heading. So if it was talking about different sandwiches and you had cheese, bacon, vegetarian, etc. On the column headings, the axis heading could be within the main heading, i.e. it could be survey on sandwiches sold between August and December. Now the fact that it says sandwiches, that could be linked to the x-axis. So if you put the x-axis subheading in the main title, that's fine. However, the y-axis, which is normally the vertical one, that needs to be named appropriately. So what does the data represent? Is it currency? Is it percentage? Is it just number of items? If it's an average, which one is it? So it needs to be named appropriately. Think about keys. Do you need a key or a legend? So if you're just looking at one set of data, you don't need a legend. But if you're comparing data, yes, you need a legend to say that blue is this and red is this. Okay, so that's spreadsheets. Now, if I come down on the City and Guilds one, I can see it says access. There is no access in Pearson's. Now, I've got information on the website about access, not videos, but it's sorry, I'm trying to multitask here, look at two screens, but it's basically information how to access the database format. So if I just come down to the bottom one, let's just have a little look. Yeah, so basically what you're going to do, this is for City and Guilds. Now level ones may get access, very rare, but what level ones will be doing is opening click on the icon that gives them the access spreadsheet or the access software, and they'll just be formatting it, opening up columns and possibly amending data. So take Nigel Kerwin off, delete that row or add a row and put some information in and maybe amend some currency. That's what level ones will do. Level twos, you may have to upload the text file. So that's in the instructions as well, that's on the website. Again, if you don't understand it, please give me a bell. You're going to format the page as well. So you'll be looking at design view, which goes behind the page and helps you to format the certain data, similar to spreadsheets where you'd format the currency to decimal places or with a pound sign. And there'll be a logical one. A logical criteria you'll have to sort out. Logical being there can only be two answers. So it's either yes, no, black, white, on, off, 1, 0, that kind of thing. That's normally for if you're, do they require a receipt, yes or no, that kind of thing. Make sure all the columns are open, similar to spreadsheets, so you can read all the data. Level twos, you will possibly have to do a query or a report. And a query is just like a sort and filter in spreadsheet. It's just a quick query to find out certain information. And the report is more formal, taking it into a meeting and presenting some data. Again, all this is on the website, on the information on there. Make sure you use wizards. Now I've shown you a format how to do it, and it's not the only way to do it, but it's the simplest way to do it. It might be a little bit longer, so if you're confident with query reports, do it your way. Just make sure you meet my requirements at the end. So again, it might not be in the exam after all that, but make sure you know how to do it. If I just come down to mail merge, because that's not in Pearson's, and just get that one out of the way as well. So with mail merge, this will be for level twos on City and Guilds. Now again, you may have some text files to upload. You may have to copy a letter into a Word document and amend it, spell check it, format the page. You could be adding tear off strip and creating a table at the bottom and adding some scissors, things like that. But the actual mail merge itself, again, I've got the information on the website for you to show you how to do it. Just be careful of, make sure you get print screens of unmerged copies and merged copies. And definitely proofread the document before you print screen or upload anything. We're going to talk about uploading later on. So, presentation or a Word document. Now, this is in both. Now, with the presentation or a Word document, you just bear with me. Yeah, so if we're looking at presentations, what we're thinking about mostly here is master slides. So we're going to format our presentation so it's it's consistent and follows the formatting rules. Now, just make sure that your slide formats are appropriate as well. So the slides you choose are appropriate. So are you using the comparing slide? Are you using the presentation, the introduction slide? We were talking about this in the videos. There's only certain ones that you need to do, but make sure the slides are appropriate for the data that's in there. Just having a look at PowerPoints. Yeah, so PowerPoints, they lend themselves to Word documents as well. So I'm going to talk about Word documents, which can be incorporated into PowerPoints as well. So with the Word document, you're going to think of the paper size. So what size are you looking for? A4, A5? What do they ask for? The orientation, is it portrait or is it landscape? So grid lines, do I need grid lines on my page? Does the text warrant bullet points, tables? If I'm using images, do I need to flip the image, check the wording that's on there? Is my image sized appropriately so it's consistent with other images? Is it next to the text that I need it to be next to? And white space. So for presentations and for Word documents, just make sure the white space is appropriate. So in posters, we have a lot more white space going on than we do in formal documents. So in between paragraphs, make sure the space between each paragraph is consistent. Remember the menu one I had in one of my videos previously, all the numerical data is lined up. Felt like I was at church then. Yeah. So presentation or the Word document, I don't know which one they're going to give you. It could be one or the other. It won't be both. So we've done the mail merge. So we're looking at folder file now. So basically what I'm talking about here, in City and Guilds, you are going to be asked at the beginning of your exam to create a folder, and you're going to store all your evidence in that folder. So whatever you save will go in that folder. Whatever you get given can go in that folder, so images, etc. What you need to create inside the folder is subfolders. So you need to open up another folder inside the main folder and name them appropriately. For example, they could be Word documents. You could name them as question 1, 2, and 3 if you want, but if you name them as a Word document or a spreadsheet or PowerPoint or Access, and put the appropriate files inside each one. So all your folders, all your files will be named appropriately. Make sure you rename them. And at the end of your exam, they're going to ask you for a print screen of your folder evidence for City and Guilds. So you will open up your main folder. So I can see on the screen your main folder with your subfolders in. Shouldn't see any files. With your subfolders, you take a print screen of that. Then you open up one of your subfolders. And I want a print screen of that because it will show the path. It will show the main folder, the subfolder, and the files that are in it. And I can see that they're all named appropriately. That's what City and Guilds have to do. Pearson's, for your folders, you are going to be directed to an area on the computer by the invigilator, and they will tell you where your files are. All you're going to do is everything that you do in the exam, you save back to that area. Wherever you get these files from, you put all your work back into that area. Now, if it doesn't ask you to create folders, don't create folders. Just put the evidence back in, so you'll have a long list. You may be renaming some evidence. So if they give you this original sheet we had at the beginning, let's just see if I've still got it open. Yeah, this response. So if they give this to you, you can see it's named as this. We can see it up there. When you've finished with this, you've completed this, you would save it back to where you got it from by adding your initial on the end. So you would keep this and you would add your initial on the end, which would overwrite theirs. Now, anything else you create, software you create and everything, they will tell you what to name it as. So just make sure you name it, put your initial on the end so we can see who's taking responsibility for it as well. If you need to confirm with your invigilator, they work two ways here. So Tresham sometimes ask you to zip the folder at the end, or the exam may ask you to zip the folder at the end to consolidate it all, because with Pearson exams, someone's going to come in, take it off on a memory stick, and they're going to upload it and send it through the Ethernet to an exam body. But if they don't ask you to zip it, or it's not in the question, then it doesn't matter, don't do it, because the invigilator will have to do all that hard work later. But they may ask you to zip it for them, so let's make sure we know how to zip. With City and Guilds, all your evidence, once the exam finishes, shoots off through the Ethernet to the assessor. Right, Q&As. Now, City and Guilds, you may get asked a question or answers at the end, 1 or 2 questions, depending how intense your exam's been before. With Pearson's, you will get asked some Q&As. They're normally in here, where are we? Task 5, which is in the internet search. Remember that last page. So if you haven't got the question and answers from me, the examples, email me and ask me for them. They're things like, I send something to the printer, it doesn't print. Why doesn't it print? There could be a simple answer that's not turned on, or it could be a more complex answer of I've sent it to the wrong printer, or the printer's not set up, or I'm on Wi-Fi. That kind of thing they're going to ask you. But I've got an array of questions and answers. Email me and ask me for them. So coming down to the most important bits, let's just see if I can get my clock back up. Yeah, so I've got about 3 minutes left, so just enough time to mention this. Uploading for City and Guilds. Now, we may need to talk about this more. On your mock exam, you'll see a blue icon where you upload. Now, the reasons you can't upload may be that the document is still open. So you just got to close the document from the bottom of your page, put it in your folder, then you'll be able to go and find it and upload it. Another reason you can't upload is because you only have 1 megabyte of space, the City and Guilds exam. So possibly this is to link to your PowerPoint. Your PowerPoint may be too good. Maybe you have too much color, the design is impacting on it, the megapixels, the image size may be too big. So just go back and reduce possibly the design or the color. And if it still doesn't upload, it should do, but if it still doesn't upload, look at image sizes and things like that. Third one, where it may not upload, and this is normally linked to mail merge, you've got too many print screens. So where they've asked you to take a copy of an unmerged copy and then all the merged copies, because there may be about 5, 6, 7 letters, they maybe ask you to take print screens of them. Maybe you've took too many print screens. So I would advise any print screens you're doing, make sure they're readable, but don't do any more than 2 print screens to a page, or else you won't be able to read it. So come the mail merge, you possibly may be using 4 pages with 2 print screens on each. So think about that. Footer evidence for Pearson's. I cannot stress this enough. Anything, any print screen you make, any software you save, make sure in the footer is your full name, candidate number, center ID on all of them. If it is not there, it will not get marked. Now the candidate ID and the center ID will be on your slip, which makes you accessible for the emails. So it will be there. So make sure that's there at the end, at the beginning of your exam. But please, 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 footer information, absolutely imperative for Pearson to rest they won't mark it. Good practice for City and Guilds to put your name in the footer. Yeah, so it's good practice for future reference. So again, anything you want to know, if it's not clear, email me. I'm accessible quite often, you know, and I usually get back ASAP. So good luck. I look forward to seeing some of your work. Thank you very much.